Hello and welcome to Chesapeake Weekly. Bulk and yard waste collection is back after being suspended due to staffing shortages. Bulk waste collection requests can be made by calling the Customer Contact Center at 382-2489, going online to cityofchesapeake.net/requests, or by doing it through the Chesapeake Service Request app. Requests must be made no later than the weekday before your normal collection day. These requests will once again count towards your 12 collections per year. It is not necessary to submit a request for bagged yard waste collection. So please put only light yard materials such as leaves and grass clippings into 35-gallon bags and a maximum of 30 of those bags per week. Now these bags are hand loaded into the back of a garbage truck, so if it's heavy for you, it'll be heavy for the folks who do hundreds of bags per day. Please be mindful of them. You do not, again, have to request a collection for bagged yard waste. While we're excited to start offering the service once again, we do want to note that demand for both bulk and yard waste collections is expected to be high, so brief delays may still occur. Items should be placed at the curb no earlier than 3 days prior to your normal collection day. Then just leave your items at the curb until they're collected, which could be a few days after your normal day. Learn more about waste disposal at cityofchesapeake.net/waste guide. Well, repairs are coming later this summer to a highly traveled bridge in the city, the Gilmerton Bridge, so we're giving you a heads up now. Here's a clip from the Public Works Project Updates episode of Peak Life with a little preview.
Gilmerton Bridge, again, talking about major thoroughfares through town. South Military Highway cuts right through the heart of Chesapeake, and of that corridor, the Gilmerton Bridge is a significant portion of that. That's a bridge that gets a lot of use, a lot of lifts during the day, much to the chagrin of commuters when the boats have to pass through. However,
but it makes it scenic.
It does make it scenic. It is a beautiful drive. If you cross the Gilmerton, you can look left and right, up and down the Elizabeth River. But movable bridges have a lot of moving parts, and a lot of moving parts means more maintenance than maybe a fixed bridge. So as part of that, we need to make some repairs to the counterweight track system on that bridge. It's a relatively minor repair, but because of the nature of what we need to do and have our contractors come in and do, it is going to result in some weekend closures of the Gilmerton Bridge. It's going to have a detour. The detour will likely be on I-64 crossing the high-rise bridge. It's going to take significant coordination with VDOT because they obviously have their own high-rise bridge and Southside widening project happening just upstream from that. So we're going to work with VDOT. We are still awaiting some materials delivery for the structural steel as part of that project. Obviously, again, we mentioned supply chain has put a kink in that, and we're looking forward to keeping this as on schedule as we can. At this point, we expect that we'll do the construction on this probably in late August or early September. And that's, again, partially because of supply chain and partially because we want to try to deconflict some of the traffic issues that this could cause with VDOT, because we'll need to detour onto their facility at the high-rise bridge. But as more information comes available on this one, we'll make sure to get that out, because while it's a weekend closure of the bridge, it's not a commuter closure. It's still a significant thoroughfare that's going to be out of service for, it looks like, 6 consecutive weekends coming in early fall. So, everyone who takes that corridor, lives in that area routinely, please stay tuned, and we'll make sure.
At least it's on the weekend.
That's probably the best case scenario, is to do it on the weekend. We were considering looking at doing it overnight, but I think doing it on the weekend gives us more construction bang for our buck and to make it as painless as we possibly can.
You can watch the rest of that interview at youtube.com/Chesapeake Television, and stay up to date with all Public Works projects at cityofchesapeake.net/Public Works. Just find the active projects pages. And we will continue to keep you updated as we get closer to those weekend closures at the Gilmerton. The Chesapeake Human Services Department has a new leader as Pamela Little-Hill took over as director following Jill Baker's retirement at the end of last year. Little-Hill comes to us from Portsmouth and has hit the ground running, already doing great things for our community.
City of Chesapeake has been awesome to me, awesome to work with. I love them being the city that cares. I love that they are the city to live, learn, work, farm, and play. It has just been an awesome experience. I've found the city to be very welcoming to me. And I just appreciate the people that I'm working with. I came from the city of Portsmouth, where we did some really good work. But there were other opportunities here where Chesapeake also had a need. It was an opportunity to do a little bit more than what I was doing. So Chesapeake welcomed me to allow me to help with not just human services, but also to do some good work with our detention center and other branches of human services that we have here. So I'm looking forward to see where I can help.
The Human Services Department is in charge of a wide variety of programs that service community members of all ages. You can learn more about them at cityofchesapeake.net/human services. Well, spring is here, and it is a great time to be out working in the yard. The Chesapeake Master Gardeners are a great resource if you're a novice or just need some extra advice. We also have a dozen educational gardening tips on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Chesapeake Television, all hosted by Master Gardeners. Several of those videos address questions about mulch, like how much do I need and where do I put it?
Hi, I'm Mike Andrzejczyk with Virginia Cooperative Extension. I'm the horticulture agent for the City of Chesapeake, and today I'm going to talk about how much mulch to use and where to use it. A lot of people think mulch is a great thing, and it is, but we want to use it appropriately. And a lot of people want to use it by amending it into the soil, and that's a no-no. So that's a big myth. When you mix it into the soil, when you're planting trees and shrubs especially, you create a whole different environment. Think of a bowl. If you dig it out, all the loose stuff is in the bowl, and all the soil you didn't dig is the actual bowl that's holding that loose soil. And when you put the wood chips in there, it changes the soil drainage. So water will enter really easily because it's loose and fluffy, and then it will hit the compacted soil and stop. So you create this bowl holding water, and that can blow over in a storm or cause water to rot the roots on your plant. Also, those wood chips are going to bind all the nutrients in the microbes that are digesting them. So that's going to take nutrients away from your plant. So that's a big no-no, okay? So mulch needs to stay on the surface. Remember that, okay? And then when we put it on the surface, it's going to create a layer that will bind that nitrogen, but that's good because that pulls it away from the weed seeds and things like that. So that's a benefit. We want to keep it the right depth too, so that it's keeping sunlight from the surface to keep weeds from germinating. And so the finer the texture of the mulch, the less you need to add. So think of sawdust or pine needles as very fine textured, and maybe 1 inch is all you need to block the sunlight from the soil surface, okay? If you have big pine nuggets or chunks of wood, you might need 3-4 inches, okay? When you start getting those volcanoes, so to speak, 4, 8, 10 inches, or especially around trees and things like that, that's getting a little bit much, and you're preventing water from getting to the soil and oxygen also from getting to the plant roots. So we want to watch that, okay? Okay, so mulch is a really good thing if we use it appropriately. So don't put it on too deep, don't mix it in, and it will do beneficial things for your soil. If you have more questions about soil, or mulch or any garden activity, feel free to contact us at any time.
And before you head to the big box garden stores, you might want to wait for the very popular Chesapeake Master Gardeners annual plant sale. On Friday, April 29th from 8 to 6 and Saturday, April 30th from 8 to noon, head over to the sale's new location, South Battlefield Park. That's 120 Reservation Road. That's on the southwest side of the Great Bridge Bridge. Chesapeake Master Gardeners will be there to help you find the perfect plants for your home and garden, from perennials, annuals, vegetables, herbs, and so much more. Now, payment must be made in the form of cash or personal check. For more information, contact the Chesapeake Extension Office at 382-6348 or visit cmgv.org. A groundbreaking of another sort took place recently. This one marks the beginning of construction of the Southside Network Authority Regional Broadband Ring. Broadband is on its way for our region. Chesapeake's local broadband ring, also known as Chesapeake Connects, will tie into the larger regional ring, putting this critical infrastructure into service in the near future. Construction on Chesapeake's portion of the ring is set to begin this summer, with project completion anticipated by the end of 2024. We'll continue to update you on this exciting project, and in the meantime, you can learn more at cityofchesapeake.net/broadband. And whether it be for construction or gardening, anytime you dig into the ground, you must call VA 811, formerly known as Miss Utility. VA 811 is an easy one call to make all your underground utilities marked so that your digging project doesn't also dig you into a lot of trouble.
So we are formally Miss Utility. We are the same service. We provide the same service free of charge for homeowners and professional excavators. But we did change about 10 years ago to go with national branding with the 811 and the shovel. So kind of like the APWA color codes going across state lines, we're hoping to hitch on each other's stars with the 811 logo. So if you cross state lines, you still see 811, you know that they're there. So if you see blue, that means water. If you see green, that is sewer. Yellow, natural gas. Red is electric, and orange is telecommunication.
So again, call 811 or go online to va811.com to request markings, check the status of your request, and to learn more about the importance of calling before you dig. And finally, if spring cleaning includes selling items you no longer use through an online marketplace, you need to be careful about meeting up with strangers. Consider making these transactions in public locations that are well lit and heavily traveled. The Chesapeake Police Department welcomes residents to use any of the 6 police precincts as a meeting point, either in the parking lot or even the precinct lobby if it's available. Now, whenever possible, bring a buddy, or at the very least, make sure someone else knows you're going and when. And as always, if something doesn't feel right, don't do it. That does it for this episode of Chesapeake Weekly. We leave you now with what Parks and Rec has going on this week. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great week.